Have you seen outside in the parking lot the big mural on the ocean container that says love? Have you seen it? Any of you seen it? All right. I'm glad. You know, I have to say it's become iconic in the neighborhood. My office is right up there so I can see it out my window, and more than a couple of times I've seen folks out there having family photos or getting pictures of people in front of that. It's even featured in a TikTok video. And it is because the message is compelling, simple, it's inclusive, it's beautiful, it's big. And it says what we're about here at Epiphany. Summed up in the first letter to John. Short sentence, God is love. Followed quickly thereby, revealed through Jesus Christ. So I wonder, is Jesus the only way in which the God of love can be revealed? The Gospel of John that we heard Pam read this morning has an answer to that question. The prologue. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was with God in the beginning, and all things came into being through him. All things are included in the love of God. So our theme this year for our annual appeal is L.O.V.E, which is love, right? It's core to Christianity, but it's also core to creation. Because all things were created with love. And love is what we're about in the church. Now, I know love's expressed in many venues, right? It's expressed in your family life. It's expressed, I hope, in your work life. It's expressed with your friends and neighbors and clubs and sports teams. But love is what the church does. Because God is love, and this is where we come to talk about God, and to teach about God, and to think about God, and most importantly, to give thanks to God. And we call that worship. That's our work. In fact, the word for the work of worship is liturgy. And liturgy means, in Greek, the work of the people. I love that. I love the fact that what we're doing right now is the work of the people. And when we give thanks to God, we're doing our work. Now, it's not because that God needs attention, or God is needy, or God desires for us to pay attention to God, but because God made everything. God made all things. If you have seen it or experienced it, then God made it. Which means, incidentally, that God could unmake it. But God doesn't, because of love. And so we come here every Sunday, to give thanks to God. That's what we do at Epiphany. Now, not that we can't give thanks at other times, right? We can. If you're out walking your dog, you can give thanks to God. If you're sort of between, if you're in a commercial break during a Seahawks game, you can give thanks to God. Some say you can do it during the game. It depends on who we're playing and if we're winning. But church is the place designed, right? Designed, sort of carved into our very being, if you will, where we intentionally, in an ordered, disciplined, regular way, over a period of time, practice gratitude. Right? That's our work. It's the work of worship. It's the work of the people. And because it is core to how we are made. There's never been a culture or community of people who have not developed a pattern of worshiping something. It is fundamental. It's a fundamental aspect of the human condition. And here we put at the center of that Jesus, and we build a space through which we worship. Now, you know this, but I'll say it again. Over the last 2,000 years, there have been times when the church has forgotten this mission. There's been times, am I right, when the church has sided with agents of destruction, when the church has participated in genocides, in slavery, colonization, when the church has intentionally pulled communities apart. It's forced conversion. The church has done ugly things in support of empire, and that has diminished cultures and it has diminished individuals. At times, and the history books tell us this, the church has lost its way. And for that is inexcusable and regrettable, and I, for one, feel terrible about it, and I think you all probably do as well. But as an agent of the church, once again, and I've said it before and many have, we're sorry for that. But we have to do more than apologize. We have to evangelize love. Love. L.O.V.E. And that means something to us here at Epiphany. It means living our values at Epiphany. And it's important because Christianity is at a crossroads. We sit at the edge of a new age. We sit at the front edge of the age of the Holy Spirit that I believe, that I sense, we're accelerating into because of the pandemic. And what is at stake here are the value propositions of Christianity. Because there are communities out there who claim to be Christians but have doubled down on division and homophobia and political agendas and wars. There are churches out there who claim that even if the earth is coming apart, it doesn't matter because Jesus is coming soon and they're going to heaven and the rest of us are going to maybe hell. There are people out there that don't believe in science. There are people out there that don't believe in the natural presence of gay and lesbian and transgender people. There are people out there who are looking to align themselves with power, and we see this all over the world right now. Power that seeks to divide and repress and diminish, power that tells lies. They're looking to align themselves with these power sources so they can keep their own power. And that's not love, is it? Be really clear about that. Right? That's not the Jesus way. That is not the Epiphany way. Am I right? Can I get an amen? Amen. All right. And so we have to stand firm, right, for the authentic Jesus that we know in the Gospels. We have to stand firm. Because if we abdicate the name of Christianity and the idea of Christianity, we abdicate to people who are willing to align with power, to hold power through division and discourse and disunity. And if we walk away, we give up that reality and forget and lose the true, deep, valuable, world-changing meaning of Jesus. We're not going to do that because that's neither Christian nor is it good for anybody. Those are not the values we hold at Epiphany. We're a church of love. That's how we live our values at Epiphany. And we're a vital Episcopal church on a landscape that is where that's becoming less and less common. And so because we're vigorous, we must remain so. And this dynamism, this Epiphany vitality, incidentally, is because of all of you. Because you come here to worship, because you join us online, because you participate in classes like the Screwtape Letters class I talked about at the beginning of the service, because you participate in outreach and retreats, where a lot of men are this morning, because you participate in moving our young folks along on their spiritual journey. It's for all of those reasons and many more that we are a thriving church today. And also because of your generous participation in our annual appeal. This is when we make a pledge. And a pledge is a financial commitment to Epiphany for the coming year. Pledges allow us to plan. They allow us to budget. And I know budget's a business word, but it's also a word that represents very good stewardship of God's creation. And yes, you know this, our annual appeal is about money, which can be complicated. because money can trigger anxiety, particularly when we are in the world as it is right now, with all of this economic turmoil. And there's this sense that all of a sudden we're poor when we thought we were really rich because of what the stock market is doing. But we're still who we are, and our work is still to worship God. That's core to our identity. And that's maybe even more important, the worship of God and turning to God in times that are times of distress and times of turmoil. In fact, worship in conjunction with the spiritual disciplines are the things that we do so over time we can train to be people of equanimity and peace and joy in the times of turmoil. That's when people should be coming to church and looking into the church for that kind of leadership in an angst-ridden world. Because we know that love is always there, that love is the point, and that is what we point to at Epiphany is love. The love of God known through Jesus Christ. And we live that love by following Him, by following Jesus, because He taught us some good values. He gave us a model to follow. So Jesus is how we live our values at Epiphany. Okay? And we know those values, don't we? What are they? Relationship is primary. Belonging before believing. The neighborhood church is the hope of the world. This is a spiritual gym where we practice soul-first living. And the kingdom of God is here. Where is it? It's right here, right now. We're not the only Episcopal church that holds these values, are we? Because they're Christian values. They're Jesus values. There are other churches that prescribe to them, but not all churches are going to survive the pandemic. We hope they do, but we can't guarantee it. All we can guarantee is that we do. That we're a thriving, surviving Episcopal church because it is essential that we continue to talk about love. That's my commitment to you. To the best of my ability, I'm going to do all that I can to move us forward as a thriving, surviving Episcopal church with your help. Now, does it matter that we're an Episcopal church? Jesus certainly doesn't care. But we do have a rich history with a liturgical design to care for souls. And it's ancient, and it's present, and it's relevant all at the same time. And I don't know about you, but I think it's pretty beautiful. You with me? Okay. Not the least because of these guys. Ours is a way of being Christian. This way, that we hope to pass on, right? That's our duty and our obligation as a community to share our Epiphany values. And I believe our young folks, a lot of them have taken this to heart. In fact, the feedback loop is pretty specific. You know how I know that? Because they're the ones that painted L.O.V.E. on the sea container in the first place. And those are values that we teach and share at Epiphany in a way that impacts their world. It's like this. It's as if Jesus came to us from the future to teach us now how to act so as to create the kind of future that we hope our children and grandchildren can have. Because that world was bequeathed to us. It is our opportunity, if not core responsibility, to bequeath it to them. And your pledge helps in making that happen. Now, I know there are a lot of institutions that are asking for your money. So I'd like you to be very generous when they do. True, because it's important. It is important that we cure diseases and we build houses for people that need housing. It's important that we feed families, and it is important that we underwrite schools, and it is important that we take care of this planet. And those are things Jesus cares about, and those are things the church cares about, and we should work toward. They're good things. And it is my hope that our children's children only know about these things by what they read in textbooks as problems solved. The role of the church, it's different, right? It's unique. It is meant to thrive in perpetuity, irrespective of the particular issues of a given age. Because God is love, and all things come through love. Love is the thing. Love is the thing behind the thing. All things came into being because of love and through love, and the church exists. We exist as the place that remembers that reality, that shares that reality, and gives thanks to God for that reality in how we worship. Because love is the thing behind the thing. Love is the work, and love never ends. That's foundational. Now, I've been with you 14 years. I know it seems like 13, but it's been 14. And I'm committed that this place remains a place of beautiful worship and a significant soul care and helpful teaching and good service to our neighbors. And it's my firm conviction that we should continue to share the Jesus values, the values of relationship being primary, belonging over believing, a soul-first lifestyle wherever you are on your spiritual journey, because everyone has a place at Epiphany. That's what we're committed to. That's the Jesus way. That's what we've signed up for. That's why you're sitting in the pews, I hope. That's how our pledge, that's how you support through your pledges. So be generous, please. For the neighborhood church is the hope of the world because it is love and only love that will reveal the very best world as God designed it to be.